All right. Hello, hello. My name is Miriam. If you don't know me, my clients actually call me the holistic therapist. I'm a functional practitioner. My background is in healthcare. I worked over 12 years in orthopedics and sensory motor. Then I started studying more in depth functional health and nutrition, biophysics, biochemistry. I added in lymphatic therapy and myofascial therapy. So that's what I see some of my clients now in my practice with. Along that journey, I ended up starting my own practice because I saw so many patients and clients that needed a different type of support with the stress, with the nervous system being dysregulated, with inflammation, with sleep issues, just this underlying cellular dysfunction, metabolic dysfunction that was affecting their ability to heal and stay well and to actually feel good in their life and function well with energy and focus and clarity and motivation, all of those things. So, as I studied, I learned how to support and address a lot of those underlying reasons why people have chronic issues. And along that way, towards the beginning, I actually was able to start healing my own autoimmune and thyroid issues. I have a history of Hashimoto's and some other things, and I was able to learn how to heal through that. So today I'll share a little bit more of my story as we go along, and we're going to focus on something called the biophysics of our body. And what does that mean? And why does it matter for our daily function? I want to share that because so often in our modern health care, and even in some of our more naturopathic care and stuff, which is all wonderful, there's so many great different modalities and treatments and things. We often focus on the biology of the body and the chemistry of the body, which are very important. And there is a time and a place where those are absolutely essential. But if the biophysics of the body is not working, those other two things are not going to be as effective. You may see some results with certain things, but you're not going to have the full healing, the deep cellular repair, the regulation of the nervous system that we really need to actually absorb the nutrition and make that chemistry work and the biology to work the way that it should be without addressing the biophysics. So, what does that mean? I'll explain a little bit more. If you're looking for more information on this, there are some clinical studies on biophysics and biofrequency and how that relates to our health. And you can look up people like Dr. DeMartino. He's one of the world's top biophysics experts. There's Dr. Emoto did some studies on how biofrequency affects cells and molecules and things like that. There are some different studies out there. So ask if you want different resources and supports. There's more out there, but definitely look for the ones that are more the clinical study ones and not like a blog that somebody just kind of shared random information, right? So a little bit about what in the world is biophysics. That is just looking at what's happening in the molecules of our body. We can see now that we have electron microscopes, we can see what's going on in the molecule of anything. Everything has molecules, and thereby in those molecules, we have the nucleus, the protons and electrons going around that nucleus, right? That classic molecule model that we see. Well, what those electrons are doing, we found out is really important, especially in the human body. And the number of electrons, the speed of the electrons are all factors in how we already measure science. And that's how they organize the periodic table of elements, is by what's going on with the electrons and protons. Well, in our human body, now that we've been able to see with an electron microscope what's going on, we've got our body systems. Within there, there's the cells. Inside those cells are the molecules. So when it comes to the cells staying healthy, the engine that keeps the cells going is the mitochondria, it's keeping those healthy. The electrons matter. We now can see that there's a specific range or level that those electrons should be at for every single body system. Now we've been able to measure that. It's measured in hertz or megahertz, so it's a biofrequency, right? Just like we measure our heart rate and our brain waves, so on and so forth. There's a specific range for every single system that is keeping it at its healthiest when it's in that range. That means more energy, more nutrient absorption, focus, hormone balance, better metabolism, better sleep when those systems are where they should be. But what we've seen is those levels start dropping lower when we have all these things every day: stress, lack of sleep, environmental toxins. We go outside, there's pollution, there's the Wi-Fi and 5G everywhere, and cell phones and all these things all the time, the blue light coming at us. Don't get me started on additives and fillers and foods. I can do an entire webinar just on nutrition and how to eliminate the things that are causing inflammation in our body. But all of those things are bringing the levels low. When those levels are getting lower and lower, we're going to feel tired, that's for sure. Also, it's going to cause more cellular inflammation, more dysfunction on a cellular level. And that's going to domino through things like hormones, mood, brain function, focus, energy, sleep, lots of different areas. And it directly correlates to issues with those mitochondria. I should make a slide that just explains mitochondria, because some people are like, what are mitochondria? But they're like a generator, if you will, or something. They provide the energy to the cell, the ATP, and they support our NAD, cellular energy. They help us absorb nutrients. They repair the cell. That's huge, because when we've had stress, we've had something that caused inflammation, we need it to be repaired. And if it's not, there will be issues. The mitochondria also help support healthy DNA in our cells, which means keeping our cells replicating the right way and not mutating or having issues, right? So those are all really, really important things. So what can we do to support this biophysics? There are some different strategies out there that you can start implementing in your daily routine that are pretty easy. And I've known many clients that have done a lot of biophysics modalities in their treatments because they had been chronically ill for 10 years, 15 years, or they've been dealing with a lot of inflammation or fatigue or whatever it was, right? And you can go to, there's a lot of med spas, a lot of places, even in our modern medicine, where they're already using biophysics, biofrequency treatments. We just don't really realize it. We've been using ultrasound for a long time. That's a modality that is a biofrequency modality. There's different types. There's lasers, there's PEMF, electromagnetic, different types of treatments, tons of different modalities. TENS units is a type of biofrequency modality. And things like our, MRI machines, which that's more of a diagnostic tool. We even have a frequency therapy that is specific for breaking up kidney stones nowadays, right? And it's becoming more and more because we have more and more clinical data showing the evidence of how it is helping our body to heal and restore and rebalance. So those things are all great, but the average person does not have enough time or money to go do all of those things. And the reality is every day those levels are getting off kilter. So really we need to tune the radio and just this daily little retuning. You can use things like grounding. Who's heard of grounding? That is getting outside, getting our feet on the ground. That's the electromagnetic force of the earth, the Schumann resonance. There's so much clinical data just on that to help the body with inflammation, help the nervous system, and so on and so forth, that people are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on just a grounding bracelet, a grounding bed sheets, shoes, things like that. And that's great. And if we could just live at the beach all the time with our feet on the ground and everything, we'd be probably doing pretty good, because really our biology was designed to have this constant electromagnetic support from the earth. Makes me think of that. Makes me think of how God spoke the universe into existence. That's a frequency, right? And Adam and Eve literally walked the garden in bare feet, right? They all day had that electron support from the biophysics of the earth. Well, that's not really realistic in our modern world, right? So here with Frequence, I found this a couple of years ago, around the time that my daughters were actually struggling with brain injury. So I'll share more on that a little bit. And I was really excited about some of the nutritional elements that were going to be amazing for the brain, among other things. And then I saw the biophysics piece of it. I thought, well, gosh, I'm paying hundreds of dollars every week for them to go get these biofrequency therapies at a facility for their brain therapy, when they could get almost all the same benefits with this nutrition. Why? Because this is the world's first biofrequency charged nutrition that works together. Here we've been able to actually bring together 11 harmonic biofrequencies. One of them is the grounding, and all the other ones help support the different body systems. There's one that helps to mitigate some of the effects of the EMF and stuff, and I've measured it with an EMF reader. And all of that is helping that retuning, that daily retuning for the nervous system and everything. Some people still use some of the other modalities and things, or things like infrared light therapy and stuff like that are all wonderful. But I saw such a profound difference when we started using this frequency charged nutrition that I started going, okay, whoa, this is very different from anything else. Because as a practitioner, almost 10 years, I have never seen the same type of results with myself, my family, or my clients. One example with my autoimmune, my Hashimoto's and autoimmune went completely into remission. Not just like before I had balanced the thyroid levels and stuff, I had seen some of the levels, improving with all the other things that I was doing with nutrition and stuff like that and holistic health, but never has I seen the antibodies go into remission. And I do believe it is the combination of the biofrequency support, the biophysics support for the nervous system, helping calm that down, helping with the stress, helping address the underlying inflammation and improve the body's ability to actually absorb the micronutrients in there. So I'll share the nutrients here in a second. Let me show you a little bit of what this looks like. Show you here so you can understand a little bit more. And as I said in the beginning, I'll answer questions at the end, so make sure you put any questions in the chat. There we go. Okay, this is a little bit of what this looks like. So 11 harmonic biofrequencies. The people are like, how exactly do we help imprint biofrequencies with nutrition? How does that work? Well, it's important to remember metal and water are conductors. And that's why, our electrical systems are made of metal wires. Why you shouldn't stand in a puddle of water when there's lightning, right? They are conductors. So we take this metallic medallion, I call it a medallion. It looks like a sticker, but it is not. We use a $750,000 very expensive machine that is electromagnetic to imprint or charge, ionize the metal so it holds the biofrequencies permanently. So it's kind of like a magnet. It's not actually a magnet, but the concept is similar. You can take any normal piece of metal and you can ionize, charge it, polarize it, and then it will stick to another piece of metal. Why? Not because we changed the molecules on a different metal or something. It's the electrons are now in a different direction, and that is why it's having this electron interaction and sticking to the other metal. You move it away, the other metal, totally fine, does not change permanently, right? So the concept is kind of similar. As we have this medallion helping charge the nutritional products, and then we're using, this is a simple like scoop, mix it in water, and there's a little dropper with the minerals. I'll show you the two foundational things here in a second. It's helping to get it on a deeper cellular level because there's this electron interaction happening as it comes into our system. So by doing that, it's calming the nervous system, helping with stress, helping with inflammation, improving nutrient absorption, and helping clear out the toxins and junk that are blocking our cells, our hormones, and lots of different metabolic processes that we need to stay well. So it really does work in a very unique way. And then, like I said, around the time that I found this, my daughters were struggling with a brain injury from an accident. And I saw how much was in here for the brain. So we'll get to the ingredients here in just a second so you can understand all the different adaptogens and everything. These are all the things. I felt almost everything in this list the first day that I tried it. So first of all, who has the mom brain, the brain fog, the scatterbrain, the overwhelm, all of that? This helped so much to the point where I didn't walk in a room and forget what I was doing anymore. I used to like go in to do something, do 10 or 15 things, leave the room, go, what was I doing? Why was I there? Or I would start to do the dishes and I'd end up like vacuuming the other room and be like, oh man, I didn't finish the dishes. That rarely ever happens anymore. And I still don't sleep much because I have a baby that's 1 year old. I forgot to mention that I have 4 little ones. So not a whole lot of sleep, but somehow This has phenomenal brain support. So you might feel, many people feel the first day or two, sometimes 3 days, improved mental performance, overall brain health, like a calm, focused energy, not a caffeine energy or something like that. Mental clarity, creativity, motivation, concentration, alertness, and usually better mood regulation. And there's a few reasons for that. So I'll show you here in a second. Quickly, I want to talk about the quality because it is so important that we know we're getting something for our health and it's not going to have heavy metals or pesticides, herbicides, fungicides sprayed on it. It's going to cause inflammation and problems, right? Especially as someone with autoimmune, I work with many clients that have a lot going on with their health. We need to make sure we have the third-party testing, very, very stringent testing to ensure there are no pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, heavy metals, all of that. NSF certified means Olympic athletes can utilize this, and their standards are extremely high, way beyond organic. But we do have the organic kosher HAL SQF, and then, like I said, the heavy metal testing. Soy-free, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, and of course, organic. We source the highest quality adaptogens that we can possibly find. And I actually got to meet a lady who works for other companies that make those like mushroom coffees. This is not a mushroom coffee. Don't worry. It doesn't taste anything remotely like that. But she said these mushrooms are completely different. Yes, they have like the same name, the similar names, but the quality is so much better for several different reasons. And so she actually works with us now, where she used to work and help some of those other companies. This is where these health products are available. Some people love to refer friends and family. So there's actually a very generous rewards option where when you refer friends or family, you can earn some points that go towards your health products. Also, there's an extremely generous affiliate program. So if that's something that you might want to think about helping other people, you're passionate about sharing about health, you want to make a difference in people's lives and want to build a stream of income, this is absolutely phenomenal. I've never seen anything this generous, and I have worked with some other affiliate programs in the past. Also, the integrity. Everything is done with such care, quality, integrity, and love that it is just mind-blowing. You can go visit the facility. You can see how everything is done. You can talk to the owners, meet the owners. You can see we have the new foundation. We just opened the Invisible Angels Foundation. We just launched to provide free mental health services, care, and support for those in need of things like suicide prevention or homelessness or all kinds of different needs. That's when you are, getting your health products, you're contributing toward offering those kinds of free services for people in need. And that's just one tiny example of the generosity, care, and integrity here. So talk to the person that invited you if you have questions, if you want to know more about different options, but you can absolutely just work on your health, and that's completely fine. I want to highlight our nutrients here. This is huge. Okay. I replaced over 15 things in the cabinet with this one, the Rise one that I'm sharing here, and the minerals. Sometimes my asthma acts up, so forgive me, guys. These nootropics are so powerful. And many of these are prescribed separately by practitioners to help with hormones, thyroid, lots of different things, adrenal health. The L-tyrosine and acetyl L-carnitine are incredible for the endocrine system, hormone balance, and thyroid health. They harmonize or naturally balance. If things are a little high, it helps balance. A little low, helps balance. So really incredible support. I do believe that combined with the biofrequency support is one of the reasons that so many people with autoimmune like me do so well, and people with thyroid issues like me see great improvements. The green coffee bean extract is specific for insulin sensitivity. This is not anything like your normal coffee or caffeine. This is metabolically like a green tea extract. It has a very small amount of natural clean caffeine. But more importantly than that, this is supporting insulin sensitivity, metabolism, our body's ability to take our food and turn it into energy instead of storing it as fat. And when our insulin is balanced, it supports a lot of other hormones. I've done entire master classes just on insulin sensitivity, blood sugar balance, and the whole combination of what's going on metabolically with that. It is pivotal for all of our hormones, including mood, emotional regulation, and stress management are tied to that whole insulin sensitivity piece. Not to mention the metabolism and all of that stuff as well. Many people do experience some weight loss. Everyone is different, partly because this is just addressing the underlying inflammation. So a lot of times we're losing the inflammation. Okay, alpha GPC, phenomenal for the brain, cognitive function, mental clarity, memory. L-theanine is your calm focus, stress relief. Helps with the alpha brain waves for calm, clear focus. Lots of studies on that for happy neurotransmitters. Phosphatidylserine, you want to have your dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine balance for mood, focus, motivation, emotional regulation, and then a lot of brain support, helps with age-related cognitive decline, lots of things. These all have individual studies on them. So if you want to, pull those up, you can look clinical studies on da-da-da. Tons of information. That Huperzine A, that last one there, or one of the last ones, has a lot of clinical data for brain health, neurogenesis, new brain cells, clarity, focus, memory, concentration, mood, and there are specific studies on that you can go look up for Alzheimer's and dementia as well. Black pepper extract improves the absorption, supports gut health, and it's an antioxidant. There's more, but for time's sake, I want to get to our adaptogens. So everything that I just said and all of these are in one thing that is a powder scoop. Tastes absolutely delicious. My kids love it. It's phenomenal. They call it their brain drink. Some people call it their liquid patience. Some people call it their liquid sanity. So whatever you want to call it, it's a delicious fruit drink. Most people say it tastes kind of like an Arnold Palmer with a little touch of peach, but everyone is different. People love the original flavor. Every once in a blue moon, there's another fun flavor that you'll see. But I've never heard anybody say they didn't like this main original flavor. These adaptogens are some of my favorite things because they address so many issues that we can have with very little effort, so to speak. So for example, cordyceps is phenomenal for respiratory system, oxygen uptake, stamina, endurance. All of these pretty much have trace minerals and vitamins. So even though on the nutrition label, we won't list out like vitamin D and stuff like that, there are a good amount of trace vitamins in here. So much so I've had clients who said, is there vitamin D in here? Because I've been taking vitamin D for such a long time and I never saw my levels improve. But I started this and my vitamin D is looking amazing. And I do think it's a combination of having just really bioavailable trace amounts of vitamin D and the biofrequency support. This is getting on a deeper cellular level and improving absorption. We also have reishi, which is phenomenal for the liver. It has other benefits. All of these have a lot, but we're just going through a few. Very micronutrient rich and antioxidants. Lion's mane is your mental health mushroom. Lots of studies on this one. Mood, stress relief, brain health, focus, clarity, all of that. The shiitake is so nutrient dense. It even has selenium for the thyroid and a lot of other micronutrients. The chaga is good for gut health. Lots of antioxidants and micronutrients. King trumpet, amazing for the cardiovascular system. So this is helping support things like cholesterol levels and blood pressure regulation and things. So look up the studies, but it is also interesting. Now we can see the electron measurement with anything now. They measured the same biofrequency of the king trumpet, 600 and I want to say 23. It matches exactly the same biofrequency level of the heart, 620 something, like right there. That is crazy. To me, I thought that was really incredible. We also have the turkey tail, amazing for gut health and antioxidants, helps fight inflammation, and has anti-carcinogenic components. Okay, so that's all in one thing. That first one covers the basis of a lot of things, and they happen. Your aminos, your vitamins A, B, D, C. There is methylated B vitamins in that one. Among, your a few other vitamins and things, your gut health supplement usually replaces that for most of my clients. So you're really covering a lot of bases with that. And then when you add this one, you're getting all of your electrolyte support, 72 trace minerals. Our bones are made of almost 80 different minerals. It's not just calcium. We need trace minerals like we need water. Most people don't know we metabolize our minerals all day long with our brain, our nervous system, our bones, our muscles, almost everything that we do. And it's really hard to get enough trace minerals in our foods. If you eat really healthy and you can juice like 150 pounds of greens and vegetables a day, you might get pretty close. But most of us can't do that. That's not very easy. So we really do need, and then of course we know we need electrolyte support. Electrolytes, a lot of people are surprised by this. Electrolytes are minerals. Not all minerals are electrolytes, but one of my favorite naturopathic doctors, Dr. Kalina, you can look her up. She's phenomenal. She says minerals are like the spark plugs in our body. They help conduct the signals with our nervous system, our hormones, our neurotransmitters, our so many different systems require these minerals. And when we become deficient because of stress, lack of sleep, all these things that we've been talking about that cause inflammation, and we're trying to eat healthy, but we probably aren't eating 150 pounds of greens and stuff a day, we are going to be deficient. Women, when we have hormone fluctuations, it causes mineral deficiency. When we are fighting the germs, it depletes minerals. When we are stressed, when we're active and everything, when we have pregnancy and postpartum and nursing, there is huge mineral depletion happening. And most people are not getting enough. So I love that this is so easy. It does not have a taste. You just drop it in your water. It does look like this crazy color. So that's important. That's called fulvic mineral. It's a natural earth mineral. Don't worry, doesn't taste crazy. It looks crazy, but you can also add it with your rise and, different things. So in case you want to, but it's really powerful to pull out the junk, heavy metals, the toxins, the additives and fillers, in foods, don't get me started on the preservatives in foods. People think they're eating a healthy, like keto diet, and they're eating all this processed lunch meat and pepperonis and cheese that's like full of preservatives. I'm like, your body has so much inflammation. So we won't go down that train today, but antioxidants. So we're fighting the inflammation, helping get the junk out that's clogging the cells. That junk is preventing our cells from absorbing nutrients, preventing our cells from using hormones. Even our thyroid cannot use our T4, cannot even convert our T4 to T3 and do all the things without clearing out those cell receptors. And the liver, which I didn't mention on the last one, but all of those adaptogens, almost all of them support liver health, which is really key. A lot of people don't know that the liver has over 500 functions, and we need to support it because it is heavily taxed by the processed food, stress, lack of sleep, all of these things. And it plays a huge role in hormones, metabolism, blood sugar. Again, our body's ability to take our food and make it into fuel and not store fat. It plays a huge role in the thyroid. This is also helping with pH balance, digestive system, skin health. You're going to replace your electrolyte, gut health support, and that gentle detoxification, even clearing out the microplastics. We can consume about a credit card's worth of plastic a year just from plastic water bottles, those little plastic spoons and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. And don't use plastic cutting boards. That's a whole other thing. We won't go on bunny trails right now, but This third one is the one that most people do those three to start, but some just start with the two. You can just start with the foundational two if you need to. That comes out to $3 and change a day for US. So still less than most energy drinks, convenient coffee, whatever. This one is your cellular energy. Sorry, my asthma is acting up. The dust where I live is really bad. Even with the air filters, but don't get me started on old houses. The NAD with this is your cellular energy and repair. So this is something you want to think about if you know you need more repair. Maybe, you've got wear and tear in your joints. Maybe you have chronic inflammatory things. You have like a back issue. Or you just know you're getting older. You've got, the hair, skin, and nail things going on and joint issues and stuff, right? Or if you just have a chronic condition that your body needs extracellular repair and support. This has 4 natural ingredients that are superpowers for cell repair, mitochondria health, DNA health, and fighting inflammation. So this has NMNH and diazoflavin working together. This helps your body make 10 times more NAD, which is one of your important cellular energies. Then if you go, there's like these infusions you can get. They're hundreds of dollars every time you go to the med spa or the chiropractor or whatever. 10 times more than one of those infusions. And then we have AC11, which is your DNA health. So this is actually extending the telomeres on the end of the DNA to improve the health of that cell and that DNA. That's incredible. One of the things that I've seen a lot of research about recently is how can we improve that telomere health? Because they wear down over time with age and stress and all the things, right? So if we can extend that, we improve the life cycle of the cell. It improves the health of the actual DNA in the cell. That is huge. I actually saw that I stopped having as much gray hair growing in when I started this. So that's kind of interesting. Side note, but there's a lot more results I'll show you here in a minute. The diazoflavin and ergothioneine are antioxidants, which means helping fight the inflammation from all the things that are causing inflammation on a daily basis, like the stress and everything. And then, of course, supercharged with our biofrequency support. So we're getting it on a deeper cellular level, helping calm the nervous system, helping with the stress and everything going on. And then you can see here the results that a lot of people experience: the DNA health, clarity, longevity, help with signs of aging. We won't say anti-aging, but definitely helps with that hair, skin, nails, all the things. Our cells get tired as we get older, so sometimes they need a little extra support as we get older. So these results were people who use all 3 things, the trio, as I like to call it. You can see the results in a short amount of time here physically, but also knees feeling better, shoulders feeling better. I had one guy who had really a lot of difficulties with the joints in his hands and some degeneration and things. And he said, I can't believe it. After a couple months of using this, my hands are like 99% completely functional, not having those issues anymore at all. And I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Everyone is different, but obviously this is providing cellular repair support. That's the foundation of this. Energy, a lot of people say, their brain feels good with this too, feeling energized and awake and everything. You can see the results, hair, skin, and nails here in a pretty short amount of time. One guy, I don't have his picture on here anymore. It's crazy. The difference that we saw on his forehead and his face, and it was like he lost 20 years in a very short amount of time. It was crazy. This is the last but not least. I just like to mention this really, really quickly because it's very budget friendly. This is $1 and change a day, but this is not for muscles. This is not just for muscles. There's a lot of clinical research on creatine for women's health, for menopause, for Alzheimer's, for brain health. So this is your other cellular energy ATP support here. Mental clarity, endurance, strength, resilience, and that cellular energy so that we're helping with the wear and tear that can happen over time. Of course, it does also support healthy muscles and joints and ligaments as well. So there's a couple other things that we have. I won't go all into it today just for time's sake. I want to make sure we have time to answer questions, but speak to the person that invited you. We do have some options that are like topical relief. There is some sleep support options and things like that. We do have a near infrared red light therapy option as well. So there's some different choices, but these foundational ones that I shared today do come in some bundles where you get some amazing free gifts actually. So I want to show that super quickly. That's going to be probably your best value. This is not a normal straw. This is charged just like those medallions on the product. So when you're drinking your water or whatever else you're doing, you're getting all those same benefits. And it actually improves your body's ability to absorb water because water is a conductor, right? And so we have that coming in, helping to regulate our nervous system, helping with that cellular health, and that it's anti-aging, as they say, because you use it on the top. So it helps with the wrinkles and stuff, which is just kind of funny. You don't have to use it that way. You can put it upside down and just use it normally, whatever. But my kids are obsessed with these straws. I think that's really funny. There's the charge scoop, same thing with the biofrequency support, and then the glass water bottle, just a beautiful water bottle that has the lid on it is charged. So again, as you have your water or whatever you're doing in there with your water bottle, you have that continued support. Some of the options come with a free upgrade to be an affiliate. So if you have that's something on your mind to possibly share with others down the line, you may want to do that. Make sure you talk to the person that invited you because there's a specific way to do it to make sure that you get that as a free gift and you don't have to pay extra for that. But these are the foundation. Typically, people start with at least these 3 and then go from there. You can make this one last for 60 days if you wanted to take, instead of taking the full dose every day, take the 1 a day. But everyone is different on customizing the best fit for their needs, their lifestyle, everything going on. These 2 last 40 days, just so you know, but there's a 30-day guarantee. So you can try it for 30 days and see how it goes. So there really isn't anything to lose and truly everything to gain. I saw, even with my kids with the brain support piece of it, their attention span went from 3 seconds back up to about 15 minutes. And they had to like relearn how to read and all kinds of stuff. And it was just phenomenal. The improvements with emotional regulation and mood and focus and everything. And then of course myself with the mom brain. And I like coffee, but I don't need the like 5+ cups that I was trying to survive on. And I really still didn't feel good, but I was like, just trying to, how you like drag yourself to the cup of coffee in the morning and then you're trying to just continue to throughout the day, keep yourself going, and then I had an afternoon cup where I'd often have like 3 or 4 shots of espresso. That's the level of fatigue that I was functioning at. And I still was just kind of like, okay, I can maybe manage for a little bit longer on that, but it wasn't like, I feel good. I feel good. Like I feel focused and calm and more emotionally regulated. And my my labs are showing the results. And then the thyroid health, all of that, but I don't have that forgetfulness, the mom brain, the scatterbrain, all of that anymore. It's basically 99% gone, which to me is huge because it's just so much better daily function, just as a person, as a human. So anybody else want to share a story of how this has helped you if you have tried this? Can raise your hand or something if you want to share really quick. Everyone's busy tonight. Michelle?
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Made
you.
a difference in so many different ways. It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
I'll go with energy and settling anxiety and depression. So energy, I used to like crash out 2, 3 p.m., in the afternoon, feel like I was dropping down and so on. From the very first time I had Rise, within half an hour, I felt an impact. I first noticed I was more alert, more aware of everything. around me, and I just simply felt better. But very soon that day, I also had energy that lasted me throughout the day. So I didn't have that 2, 3 p.m. crash down anymore. I used to be on a prescription medication for anxiety and depression. Now, the first thing I want to say is anybody who's on that should always consult their doctor before changing anything with their routine, because I'm not a doctor and I'm just simply sharing my own personal experience. So I was on that medication for quite some time. I'm no longer on it anymore.
Wow.
I just don't need it. So just picking on Just the Rise has made that phenomenal difference to me. If I miss the Rise, I notice my other half seems to annoy me a bit by the end of the day, though.
I
But
hear
yeah,
you.
no. So I don't have to worry about, like before when I was on the antidepressant medication, it was like, oh, well, if you took it too early, then you'd probably go to sleep early and miss out on your quiet time at night. But then if I took it too late, then I'd wake up feeling groggy and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I just take Rise in the morning and feel good.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, that story can help so many people because I think a lot of people can relate. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I answer everyone's questions. Let me stop this.